Metropolis has realized they can get news online faster and for free?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll free to join us here if you want. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
And Johnson.
And you.
Dave Silverbregger.
So what are we calling you? Are we calling you Silver Dave? Are we calling you Dave? I mean, what do you want to be called here?
I think that I have about 40 different names at this point. Lately, people have been calling me Silver Dave, Chocolate Dave, Carrot Dave.
Do I want to know? Wait a minute. Do I even want to know why you're being called Carrot Dave?
It's probably not as bad as it sounds,
okay,
just because I really like carrots, and I've had these pictures where I'm posing, eating a carrot, sort of proposing the idea that carrots are healthy and good for muscle growth and fitness.
Good to know. Good to know. All right.
Yes, yeah. And if anyone is listening, I do recommend carrots.
Carrots
they
are
are delicious and wonderful.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, I've always known you as Silver Dave. So, I mean, if you've got a preference, we'll call you whatever your preference is. Otherwise,
But most people still call me Silver Dave.
Silver Dave. We'll go with Silver Dave. I think you did like one co-hosting gig with Mark and Angie recently.
Yes, about 2 weeks ago.
Yep. So welcome back. It's good to have you here. I think maybe longtime listeners may remember an interview or two that we might have done of you from like the Porcupine Freedom Festival a long time ago. You used to live in Keene many years ago. When was that? Like 2010, 2011, something like that?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked.
Do you remember?
Yeah, actually, it was 2011 and 2012. I actually came to Keene after about 10 years in the military as a Green Beret.
Straight out of the
Special
military?
Forces. Yep. I came to Keene because I had made some astonishing discoveries about what I believed that the wars were really for. And Keene, when I evaluated where was the best place to go to really get involved and try to help perpetuate, sharing new ideas, Keene seemed to be just the center of activism and radio, as obviously you can see. So I came here, and it was a great learning experience for me.
Yeah, and then you ended up launching a silver company, Sons of Liberty Mint.
That's right.
That was a learning experience, I bet.
Oh, yes. So we learned a lot of lessons, probably about $750,000 worth of lessons the hard way.
That's how it usually goes.
Yeah.
You usually have to learn the hard way in life. People can tell you, but you just don't really understand it until you go through it.
No, and they did tell me, but I was stubborn. Really stubborn.
But you're back. After you went down to Pennsylvania when you were doing the silver thing for a while. You ended up working for another silver company, I think, for some period of time.
Yeah, basically the short version of the story is that, Sons of Liberty Mint, we were rocking and rolling. We did, in fact, make and sell over 1 million pieces of silver.
Wow.
Which is,
kudos.
And it's really something when I think about it. However, we didn't really make a lot of money. We did learn a lot of lessons. And bear in mind, too, that, silver is very small markup. So when you think 1 million pieces of silver, it's not...
You're not making $1 million.
Right. And then when you talk about, 5 years of operating costs and what it took to build the factories and develop the process and the products, it didn't necessarily equate to the big fortune that I thought it would, but it was a great learning experience. I'm really glad I did it.
I bet you met some interesting people.
Amazing people.
Right.
Amazing people. And we actually moved to Philadelphia to continue on, and we linked up with a refiner out there called Pyromet, who's still really the best silver refiner in the country, and they bought Sons of Liberty Mint.
Oh, really?
Yep, and they actually still sell one of my inventions called the Silver Card, which is the only silver coin that fits in your wallet just like a credit card.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
and you
cool.
can still buy them, so feel free to check out Pyromet, the Silver Card, and let them know Silver Dave sent you.
Right on.
Yeah.
Very cool. So we're going to get into whatever it is that's in the news. I honestly have no idea. This morning, co-host of ours was arrested. Rich Paul, arrested at the courthouse today. He had intended to go and get his name changed. He'd petitioned the probate court for a name change here in New Hampshire. It's a $110 fee. And usually it's a relatively short court hearing. You kind of just walk in and judge asks you, like, why do you want to change your name? You give the reason why you want to change the name. The judge just needs to make sure, basically, that your intentions aren't, nefarious, that you're not doing it to, commit fraud or something like that. And so there were several other people in the court to change their names, and their hearings went relatively smoothly. But before he even made it into the courtroom, there was a uniformed sheriff's agent who was waiting downstairs, just standing there waiting for Rich to arrive. And after Rich went through the security procedures to get into the courtroom or to the court building, that's where the man was. The sheriff's agent was standing there waiting, and he asked Rich to show him his ID. And I thought about saying, because I was kind of coming through security after Rich, and I was going through the process of getting shaken down or whatever, and I kind of thought, that's weird.
Right.
Normally when you go through court security, you're through the security, you go into the courthouse, and that's it. Nobody ever asks you for your identification. I thought about saying to Rich, you don't have to show him your ID, he should have known that he shouldn't have to show his ID,
right.
But maybe he was kind of in that obedience mentality of, we got to get through the security checkpoint. Oh, you want to see my ID? Okay, here you go. And what it was one of those things where the officer needs to confirm that he is Rich Paul. Otherwise, they can't arrest somebody else thinking they're Rich Paul, and they'll, kind of look bad. There's probably no penalty for them if they did that, but they can't. They generally have to be somewhat certain that the person they're going to arrest is who they think. So a lot of times they'll just ask you, "Excuse me, are you Silver Dave?" And if you say, "Yes, I am Silver Dave," and they have a warrant for your arrest, well, then they put the handcuffs on you. In this case, he just had him ID himself and then said, "You're under arrest. We have a warrant for your arrest out of Hillsborough County."
For what?
Well, so to some extent, I'm not going to say this is Rich's fault, right? But Rich should have dealt with this when the issue came up. What happened was a month ago, I'm going to say roughly a month ago, it might have been a little longer, we got wind or heard that from his former roommate/landlord that sheriff's agents from Hillsborough County Sheriff, which is the county that has Manchester in it, showed up at Rich's old house in Manchester looking for him. Now, obviously they didn't do any research whatsoever on this because Rich had not lived there, and it's like he's publicly living in Keene. It's like not a surprise that he's not there.
Classic police
They
investigation.
did no investigation whatsoever, and so they showed up. He wasn't there, and then so we caught wind of it, and that's when he did. To Rich's credit, he did call his attorney. He had a public defender, which is also part of the problem, I'm sure. But he contacted the public defender and said, "Hey, what's going on here? Why are these guys?" Because they wouldn't tell. They wouldn't say why they were there besides the fact that they had a warrant. They wouldn't say what it was for. So the idea is, well, if you got an attorney, go ahead and call them. She can find that out. Well, she never got back to him. So he just kind of dropped the ball after that. And, well, when you do that, they're going to show up at one of the most inconvenient times. In this case, we'd been waiting a month to go to this hearing where he'd petitioned the court for a name change to change his name to nobody. And so this was going to be like an epic hearing of was he going to get the approval for the name change? Now we don't know.
Well, we know
man.
At least as of today, he did not get the approval.
Well, right, he didn't get it, but they can't
now
say
know if he will.
It did not work for the reasons that you thought it might have.
Yeah, the question remains open.
Right, he wasn't denied, but he wasn't approved either because he didn't get to appear in front of the judge, which is, of course, one of the other stupid things about what happened today is this happened in the ground floor of the courthouse. So, of course, the first thing I asked, I'm there with my video camera, I'm ready to go, and first thing I asked the agent, the sheriff's guy, was like, well, are you going to bring him to the courtroom? Because he's got a hearing scheduled in 10 minutes.
Right.
And if you're not familiar, courthouses, almost all of them, I'm sure, have the bowels where underneath in the basement of the building, they've got holding cells. This is where they take the prisoners who are supposed to be there in front of a judge, dressed out in orange. They're waiting to go into court. They wait in the cells that are in the basement of the facility. So it's not like they just ran him out the front door. He's still in the building. Right. And so I'm like, well, are you going to bring him to the court? And I'm like, well, we don't know. We need to talk to Hillsborough. We don't know what this is about. And so they, shuffle him off. And so at that point, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to go to the courtroom and see what happens at this point. So, just in case they were going to call his name and give him a failure to appear or something, then I could speak up and, let the judge know what was going on. So I can tell the rest of the story coming up here in moments. Plus, we're going to check in on the poppy eradication process. Silver Dave's got a story about that. It's not as high-tech as you might expect, given the amount of serious amount of money spent on the war on drugs. We'll get into all that coming up here. It is Free Talk Live.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I am recounting this morning's unfortunate arrest of Rich Paul, our fairly regular co-host here. He's usually here on Thursday and Friday nights in recent weeks, and I don't know how soon he's going to be back. Generally, when you get arrested for failure to appear. You usually get cut loose pretty quickly unless they're super pissed at you. And so let me get into the rest of the story here in just a moment. But I do want to let you know about Liberty.menu. If you are an individual who rejects the initiation of force and you agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, you qualify to use Liberty.menu. It's basically a libertarian business directory, but it also has events listings and digital content listings. So whatever it is that you do as a liberty-loving person, you want other people who care about freedom to know about it, you ought to be up on Liberty.menu. And there's no reason not to, because it's free. So just go to Liberty.menu, add the things that you do so other people can find out about you. Liberty.menu, you can use code FTL and get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. There's also a bit of a social networking aspect to it, so you can actually create events on Liberty.menu, so you don't have to use Facebook for this anymore. You can also rate and review the listings that are there as well. So, Liberty.menu. We're going to go to your calls and thoughts. I just want to finish the story. There's not a whole lot to it, but our friend and co-host Rich Paul arrested this morning as he attempted to go to his court hearing, which was a voluntary court hearing. He'd filed for a name change. So he wasn't there for any sort of criminal purposes, but they arrested him on what's called a failure to appear. And the agents at the time didn't know what it was for. All they knew, it was just a warrant. So I actually contacted Hillsborough County Sheriffs and talked to them, and that's where I found out. Or no, I found out from Cheshire County Sheriffs later. I contacted their office looking to speak with somebody on the higher-ups to ask them, are you going to let this guy go to his court hearing that he's in the building for? You have him in custody in the building. They could easily just walk him into the court hearing and have this name change hearing, which takes it's a 30-second hearing. I don't know if you've ever gone to a name change hearing. It's literally 1 or 2 questions from a judge, and then the judge says, "Congratulations, you now have this new name." As long as the judge is sure you're not going to use it for fraudulent purposes, you then get your name change certificate. If you need more copies of the name change certificate, you can have more of them, for $10 a piece. Sometimes you need these things to send to credit card companies or banks or whatever to make sure that they can change your name.
I'd like to make a comment on this because I feel like there's 2 really important learning lessons that we could get out of this, and I really want to thank Rich, for helping point this out to us. And I feel like we can always learn something.
Sure.
And there are 2 things. The first one is I think that it sounds like if you're going to a government building and you're going through a standard metal detector and they start asking for your ID card, you almost might want to now. It sounds like no one was expecting it, so they just he went with it. But now it's if they ask for your ID card, you might want to just go ahead and leave, or you might want to not give it to him because you might get arrested.
Well, he's going to get arrested anyway at some point. The warrant's not going to go away, so it's just a question of when.
But did he want it to happen at that time?
No, of course not.
Just a thought. Well, and the other thing that really, really rings my bell here with this too is I call it the government lottery. Mm-hmm. And the government lottery is when you do stuff with the government, you never actually know what's going to happen. And my example is sometimes you call the police because you're being attacked or something's happening. You call the police and you think they're going to come help you. And then you find out you're getting arrested.
Right.
Because then they saw that you had something that you weren't supposed to have. So I feel like the learning lesson is, really be careful when you deal with these guys because there's really only one service they offer, and that is to take more freedom from people.
That's true.
So...
yeah, you're never safe when you're in a government building or you're around government agents. Even if you thought you were there for the most benign of reasons, if they've got it in for you, they got a reason to take your body and put you in a cage, they're going to do it. If you offend a judge for whatever reason, they can hit you with a contempt of court charge, and that can send you off to a jail cell for a indeterminate period of time. The judge can just arbitrarily say, Dave, you're not supposed to have a hat on in my court, and then you get arrested, and then the judge can say 6 days, 60 days, 6 months, whatever it is they're feeling like doing. So, it can completely destroy any kind of plans that you might have had.
Government lottery. It's like a box of chocolates.
Oh,
you never know what you're going to get.
Old, nasty box of chocolates. So that's what happened today. He's still in custody, but has been presumably transported out to Hillsborough County. And it's for failure to appear. Here's the other thing. It's supposedly on a charge that was supposed to have been dropped. So he was arrested a few months back in Manchester for felon in possession of a weapon, of a machete. So he had a machete in his car trunk at the time, which, he says was a gardening tool. And even if you look at the felon in possession statutes in New
Right.
Hampshire, machete doesn't count. It's not
Right.
It's not there. And so the cops didn't know what they were doing, and they just arrested somebody because, whatever, they can do it. They're not going to see any punishment for it. So they
It's
can do
not
it.
possible to actually know all the laws.
Okay, definitely not. And the cops certainly don't know them.
Right.
But there's no punishment for them if they don't know them. It's just like, oh, whoops. Well, we've taken away your freedom from you. We're going to let you go. So purportedly, that charge was dropped. However, apparently he missed one of the court hearings. So even though it's just like with Julian Assange, even though while Julian Assange was staying in the embassy in London, they dropped the sex charges against him. That he was wanted for originally, for which he missed a court date in the UK. And so they put a failure to appear on Julian Assange, even though the charge was already dropped. And
Doesn't Rich still have a bunch of charges here in Keene that are suspended as well?
I don't think so.
Okay.
At this point, it's been so long. Suspended sentences only last for so long, and so I don't think he's got any of those.
Multiple years in some cases.
Yeah, but his conviction here in Keene was like 2012. So he's clear on that stuff. So that's the latest. We'll update you as that develops, but it's unfortunate. Let's continue and go to your calls and thoughts. Socrates is on the line in New Hampshire. Socrates, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian Johnson and Dave.
Oh, yeah. I'm calling because returning to New Hampshire this month.
Oh, welcome back.
Well, thank you very much. I'm just coming from Massachusetts again, and I used to go to something called Pork Fest, which you guys used to be sponsored by. However, I know that there was something called Fork Fest that you guys were pushing, and I wanted to know what the status is, if that's still going on.
Oh, yeah, we're going.
I would be there.
You're going?
Oh, yeah.
Johnson, you're going?
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, we're all going. Fork Fest. It's happening from June 13th through June 18th. So this year it's the 5 days prior to the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and it is basically a decentralized libertarian camping event at the same location. It's at Rogers Campground, beautiful location in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. It'll be year number 3, so it's going to be a small event, but I think it's going to be bigger than it was the first 2 years. Year 2, we saw some growth between year 1 and 2, and I think it's going to grow again between years 2 and 3. But there's no real way to tell because there's no ticket sales. Since there's no tickets, there's no
organization. It's just we're gonna find out what it is
when we're
get
there. Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Does that make sense, Socrates?
It does. So, because after they had the split with you, I no longer decided to support the Free State Project anymore.
Well, stand by if you've got more to say. Hang on, we can bring you back. I'm excited about it. It sounds like it's going to be bigger this year. Ernie Hancock from Declare Your Independence, he's making T-shirts, so there's going to be Forkfest T-shirts for the first time ever this year. That's pretty cool. There's already plans for all kinds of stuff. I'll tell you more about it coming up here in moments, because each individual gets to decide what they want to do there. There's no central committee. No board of directors. 855-450, free like freedom.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
In local news, 23-year-old graffiti artist Adam Zane has captured the heart of 19-year-old college sophomore Jessica Tisolo. Zane, who goes by the graffiti handle Slice, met Tisolo last summer at an annoyingly self-aware dive bar where the talentless artist caught Tisolo's eye with his cliched sleeve tattoos of trite Japanese imagery and the fact that he was wearing a winter hat indoors in the middle of June.
His art is really just the absolute worst. I think we're going to get married someday.
And now for This Week in Tech, brought to you by LG. An excited groom sends text messages to his buddies during his bride's vows, and a collection of VHS tapes are held onto for one more year. In other news, a burglar makes sure to crack the glass on a family portrait before leaving. There's nothing in the employee handbook about groping dead co-workers, an employee says, and a report finds that nobody's heard from David Blaine in a while, so somebody should probably check to see if he died in one of those things. Mere seconds have passed, yet we feel as though we've known you 1,000 lifetimes. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free to bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. You can just jump into one of those rooms, and then you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. And don't forget, you can join us online over at freetalklive.com. We have a lot of features there on the site, so please enjoy those on us. Again, freetalklive.com. Also, if you care about good mouth health, you care about healthy teeth, white teeth, and fresh breath, you ought to check out My Magic Mud over at mymagicmud.com. It is clinically proven to whiten teeth, which is weird because it's black tooth powder. So it's counterintuitive to think that putting black powder in your mouth and brushing around with it is going to whiten your teeth, but it does. It's made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. I use My Magic Mud's products. I've got the toothpaste up in the bathroom here at the LRN.FM studios, and we actually knew about My Magic Mud from way back when they were just, selling it off of a table at PorcFest.
I love My Magic Mud. I really love it. And I love the way it looks when your teeth are so black and you look in the mirror while you're using it. I feel really hardcore. Like, oh yeah.
It is, it's something else. Try it out.
Really works great.
And I think you're going to enjoy the success with My Magic Mud. It's available at health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, natural grocers, and even Walmart's natural beauty aisle. But we can get you 20% off, and you don't have to go anywhere. Just go to mymagicmud.com and use code FTL20. That's FTL20 at mymagicmud.com.
You can brush your teeth and then go film an episode of The Walking Dead.
You could. I wonder if they use it on set. So let's go back to Socrates in New Hampshire. You're back on Free Talk Live. You were calling to actually ask about ForkFest, which is the decentralized camping festival that sprung off or forked from the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is, I think, in its 16th year this year. perhaps, maybe 17, depending on how you count them. But you said you're pretty interested in this event. Socrates?
Like, yes. Okay, are you with me?
We have you now. Go ahead.
Because I've been going to PorkFest since 2013, and ever since you guys had their split with them, it's been
just to be clear, they split with us. I just want to make it clear.
That's right.
I don't have any hard feelings towards anybody, but they did what they had to do. They felt like they needed to do. Which was kick us to the curb.
They become too bureaucratized.
Right. So, so it's a cool event, but you've never been before. This will be your first year.
My first PorkFest.
Gotcha.
After going to 5 PorkFests, I helped set up Kokesh's event back in 2015 or 16, and I'm hoping to actually get him to come along.
Oh.
So there should.
I hear he's running for not president.
Right, he's running for anti-president, I believe he's going to be calling it.
Oh, right on.
But I can't think of a better start than to reset the principles of liberty at PorkFest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, make sure you head over to forkfest.party. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to comment on the Rich Paul incident. It's interesting that New Hampshire is one of the only states that doesn't have any restrictions on any weapon unless you've been convicted of a felony or drug charge, and then you're not allowed to carry a shuriken or a knife.
But you are allowed to carry a machete, apparently, or at least have it in your car, and that's
right.
So they apparently have dropped the charge, although we'll know more as time goes on. But again, if you miss a court date, they take that stuff real seriously. Like, they want you to take them seriously, and so if you miss a court date, they put a warrant out for your arrest, even if you sleep in or whatever the reason is. They don't like that very much. So we'll see when. Hopefully he'll get out sooner rather than later. And if you're interested in, I suspect he's going to be out before ForkFest. I think he'll be out before the end of this week. I think he's probably going to get a hearing tomorrow, would be my guess. That tends to be how these things go. If they don't get you a hearing the same day as the arrest for a failure to appear, you're usually in front of a judge the next possible day that you can be in front of a judge. But then again, I'm not an attorney. I could be wrong. But Socrates, what I would recommend you do is visit forkfest.party. If you have not yet, there are links there to the ForkFest Telegram chat room where there's, I think, about 80 people in there. It's a fairly active chat room. People talking about the different things that they're going to be doing at ForkFest, the different events that they're going to be having. And then there's also a link at forkfest.party to the ForkFest forums where you can, again, there's more ordered conversations about different topics of things that are going to be happening, people that are cooking, people that are throwing parties, all that sort of stuff. And there's actually now a ForkFest calendar. So last year there was a calendar, but it was a Google calendar that a guy threw together who wasn't even planning on attending ForkFest. This year, a couple of the ForkFest attendees worked together to kind of decentralize the calendar, so it's no longer Google.
Is there anything on it yet?
Last time I looked, there was a few things that actually had been added to it. So I felt like it was
good. Okay, good.
I did hear there's going to be an event out there called Escape from Capture, where a special forces guy is going to teach people how to pick handcuffs.
Really?
And basic escape strategy. Yeah, I did hear that. I think that the outfit he's called is a special martial arts group called Practical Application of Force.com, but I'm not totally sure about that.
Okay, well, once you're sure about it, or whoever that person is sure about it, they should add it to the calendar because anybody can do that. Just
a lot of stuff here stretching into PorkFest, but not a whole lot that has been added. I guess
nobody's obligated to list the things that they're doing.
It's completely decentralized. This is what happens. It's like herding cats.
Thanks, Socrates, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. We'll see you there. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. There are instructions on the ForkFest forum on how to edit said calendar. So give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, give us some feedback in the chat room, and we'll walk you through it or whatever. So, and there are, there could be another competing calendar as well. It's like I run the website for ForkFest. It doesn't mean I'm the organizer of it. It's an unofficial website. So I kind of if I like this calendar better, I'll feature that one. But if there's two really good ones, I'll feature them both, So let's go to Brian. He's in New York. You're on Free Talk Live, listening on TuneIn. Go ahead, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, what's on your mind?
So I was wondering what you guys thought about the rumors that Justin Amash is going to be running for the Libertarian nomination for president. Do you think it's realistic, and what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know anything about it. I think you're the person that we heard the rumor from previously, because I think you've called about it before.
Yeah.
So, I don't think anything has changed from the last time that you called about it, because I don't know who's running for president with the Libertarian Party. I've heard that Vermin Supreme is probably going to throw in. I've heard that Adam Kokesh, and apparently maybe you're saying Justin Amash is going to do it. So, I don't know.
Because recently he became the first Republican in Congress to call for Trump to be impeached. And most people think the reason he did that was because he wants to get enough name recognition out so he can get 3 or 4% of the Libertarian, or 3 or 4% of the national vote during the presidential election, and that could be a reason why he's running for president as a Libertarian.
Why would somebody want to...
So he thinks that there are going to be enough Democrats that vote for him because he called for Trump's impeachment to get 3% of the vote in the national election?
How much did Gary Johnson get last time? Wasn't it close to 3%? Yeah. So, that's not...
How much did Ron Paul get?
Well, you mean in the primary? I mean, he didn't make it through the I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not comparing apples to oranges.
Well, if you're looking for a national vote and not in a primary, that's where you're...
But what's the point? Why would somebody want to run for something and hope to get 3 to 4%? What is the benefit? Yeah.
And the other thing is, it makes no difference, because the way I see it, they're going to get... It's not about votes. It's not about popularity. It's about money. And the people who have the money, the biggest power brokers on the planet, they buy who the president's going to be. They're going to get the guy they want. And if
the Bilderbergers?
Yeah, I don't know who it is, but these guys, they have all the money, they have all the power. They're going to get the guy they want. And if they get a different guy, they'll buy him too, and he'll do what they want, because they're going to give him the funding that he needs.
Yeah.
Or he'll get off like John F. Kennedy did.
I just don't understand the speculation about who's going to run for president. Just wait and see. Why do you care about talking about who you think's going to run? More coming up.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and we're proud to promote amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Visit GCNlife.com for products like Luminesse. The Luminesse anti-aging skincare line restores youthful vitality and radiance to your skin, reducing the appearances of fine lines and wrinkles with stem cell technology. There's also Instantly Ageless, which works within 2 minutes, reducing under-eye bags, fine lines, wrinkles, and pores. Jeunesse has products to help you with how you look and feel in a very short time. Nobel-nominated Dr. Vincent Jampapa has designed several products helping the body perform better. Jeunesse products have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're available up to a 25% preferred price discount. See all of the amazing Jeunesse products at GCNlife.com or call toll-free 1-844-443-6637, 1-844-443-6637.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. Freedom freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. And you can dial toll-free here to bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're open for you over at discord.lrn.fm. And here in the studio tonight joining you, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
Silver Dave.
All right, so 855-450-FREE. By the way, I want to say thanks to Purple Lotus, who is a Free Talk Live Silver Amplifier. That means that Purple Lotus is giving $5 a month to the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And the idea is your $5 a month gets pooled in together with other people's, and then we do things like help promote Free Talk Live to radio stations. Actually, we just this weekend Mark and I are going to be heading down to New York City, where we'll be at the Talkers New Media Seminar for the 14th year in a row or something like that. It's hard to believe how many of these things we've gone to, but we've gone to quite a few of them. And it's because of listeners like you helping us out through the AMP program. It helps us get on new radio stations all around the country. We've got over 200 stations now, and it's thanks to listeners like Purple Lotus for joining the AMP program. Purple Lotus, one of our newer amplifiers. And you can go to amp.freetalklive.com and get signed up there for $5 a month. You can use credit card, you can use PayPal, you can use Bitcoin BTC. You'll get access to some special perks like the AMP chat rooms on the Discord server, as well as if you're still on Facebook, there's a pretty active, from what I understand, Facebook group for amplifiers as well. There's more. Go and learn more and get signed up, please, over at amp.freetalklive.com. Brian's still with us in New York. So, Brian, why the obsession? I mean, it seems like every time you call, and it's fine, you can call about anything you want, but it seems like that's all that you pay attention to. It's all that you call about is like, who's going to run for president? Who's going to run for president? Why don't you just wait and see? What's it matter? What's all the speculation about? Does it excite you?
I'm just interested.
Yeah.
I'm just interested. Let me ask you this. What would you think if Justin Amash announced tomorrow that he was going to run for the presidency?
It would mean nothing to me. I don't know anything. I mean, I know almost nothing about this guy. All I know is I've heard he's supposed to be one of the more liberty-friendly representatives after Ron Paul left, but I don't ever hear anything about him being like Ron Paul. I've never heard him being that principled or whatever. But then again, I don't pay any attention for the most part to national politicians. So for me, it'd be like whoopee-doo.
What's his name? Paul Anaga
Justin Amash.
Naga win. That's what.
Not gonna win.
Not gonna win.
I mean, do you guys have any feelings about this guy?
He's not gonna win. That's
right. There you go.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, guy, he's gonna save us. Hey, congratulations! We voted, and our masters let us have new color tags that we can wear. No, we voted. We wanted purple ones because we don't like these green ones. And now they let us have purple ID tags to wear on our choke chain collars.
You voted and the state still won.
Thank you for letting us have the color we choose.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your freedom.
It's hard to get excited at all about anything. I mean, the only thing I could get excited about would be if Vermin Supreme actually won the Libertarian Party's nomination. I would be excited about that because it would be entertaining as hell, and I would love to see Vermin Supreme have a larger platform on the national stage.
Here's the thing to me about Vermin Supreme. This really I find comical. You
That's
got
what
to
he
know.
is.
Yeah, you got to know what type of a system you're in when the best candidate you've got is a guy with a boot on his head. I mean, literally, like the best, literally, not Republican, Democrat, of everyone combined. Vermin Supreme is actually the best guy we've got. And he's a guy with a boot on his head.
To be fair, I think
he's the best guy we've got.
I think McAfee would be better, but I don't know if he's going to win
Well, I
either.
just think because I can tell Vermin Supreme just because he says free ponies, toothpaste, boot on his head. I just believe him. I just feel like he's more
He's
believable
honest.
than these other guys. He's honest. These other guys are like, no, I'm clean. I don't believe you.
Yeah. I love the trolling.
Brian?
Go ahead, Brian.
What do you think about him wanting to impeach Trump?
Who?
There's like 10 million people that say that. Almost half the Democrats and everyone who's
But
like
he's not a Democrat. He's a Republican. He's
Who
the only
cares?
Republican
He's not gonna
right
get
now.
impeached.
People who associate themselves with Democrats are like, oh, we have to impeach Trump. And just like the Republican people said about Obama, oh, we need to impeach him. You got people saying that.
Not
going to
happen.
Show me when it happens.
Never.
Yeah.
They've impeached, but then it's supposed to go to the Senate to I don't know, charge him or boot him out or something. There's another step, and apparently impeachments happen twice, I think, in the whole history of the United States. But the Senate's never actually gotten rid of him. So even if he was impeached, he probably wouldn't get removed from office. So what's the point?
Yeah, and even if they impeach him, they will replace him
with another scumbag
guy that does all the things like
the worst guy, Pence,
stuff.
the vice
It's a different
president.
brand.
He's way worse. Right? Like Pence is like a ultra religious psycho, like your typical neoconservative kind of guy from what I understand. I mean, I don't know anything about him. That's just what I've heard. At least Trump's entertaining.
At least you know what you're getting to it. I mean, you've already got it.
Yeah.
You're just going to throw, hey, mystery box. What are we going to get next? I don't even know.
It's going to be worse.
It'll be worse.
It'll be worse. Guaranteed. Thank you, Brian, for the call tonight. Appreciate it. Let's go to Sarah in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. And then coming up, we'll get to this Poppy story that Silver Dave's got. Go ahead, Sarah.
How about this? We passed a new law here. So they're going to charge the spectators of people who watch drag racing $500 for just watching.
What is
this is in Albuquerque?
Yeah, how about that? Yeah.
One of those street race events?
Yeah, drag race, street race.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the problem is that they drag race just all over the place. It's a real problem here.
Really?
So, you're amazed, huh? This is Albuquerque culture. I mean, so they're going to. So the reason that they're going to find the viewers is because they gotta when they chase the drag racers, they have T-bone accidents, run people over, run stop signs, and a lot of the officers got into wrecks and they got killed, and it's a nonsense. So they're going to go after the people that are watching.
This is insane. I actually have an experience with this because I was in El Paso, Texas, and I had a 1970 Chevelle, and we used to go to the drag strip and go drag race it. And there was one night where we were on, and this was like a legit drag strip, but we were on our way to the drag strip, and all of a sudden we get pulled over by these police. And the police are screaming and yelling, and they tell us to get out of the car, and they literally screaming and yelling at gunpoint. Like, we're on the ground, they are shaking and they're yelling. It was actually really scary because these guys are going to accidentally shoot us. But I guess that there was a shooting at the drag strip, and supposedly the people had driven away in a red sports car, and we just happened to be in a red Chevelle, and the police they don't have good intel usually. Surprise. Anyway.
And they're not so smart, some of them.
And so they just pulled over any red car and they're screaming and yelling with guns. All you got to do is just have the wrong look on your face and you'll accidentally get shot. But yeah, they are.
Or they'll tell you to do something and then tell you to do the opposite of the same thing. and then you have to do both, but you can't do both. So whatever it is you do, you're doing the opposite of the other thing they told you to do, and so therefore they have a reason to shoot you. Like, you think I'm joking? That actually happens.
Yeah. Keep your hands where I can see him. Show me your ID. Show me your ID. Keep your hands where I can see him. Show me your ID. You're like, what do you want me to do?
Exactly. Sarah, this is a crazy idea, and apparently I did pull up the article here from the Albuquerque Journal. The Albuquerque City Council has approved this traffic. It's going to be part of the traffic code that would allow police to cite those watching street races or spectators, quote, at a location where preparations are being made for such events. The bill passed 6-3. I mean, this clearly is a violation of the right to assemble. Clearly.
How do you what if you're just walking by?
Apparently, if you look at it, you're under arrest.
Close your eyes.
Here's the thing, here's a solution, is that we have mobile speeding units that takes a picture of the license plate and registers the speed like 90 miles an hour. And to have a picture of the drag racer, you don't have to chase them around like a goose all over town 5-10 miles.
There's no doubt, Sarah, that the police chasing cars is incredibly dangerous and does frequently lead to accidents, like you pointed out. You're absolutely right. So I just want to clarify, are you against this prohibition? Are you against making it illegal for people to watch a street race?
Well, the thing is, they got to do both. Like I said, they do.
I almost thought we were going to agree on something there, but no. No. So you don't believe in the right to assemble. You don't think somebody should be able to be in a public place watching what is going on in public. That's crazy.
Well, the thing is, it's encouraging drag racing behavior.
How are they going to? The only dilemma is, so let's say, for example, you live right nearby, and you hear commotion.
No, don't look out your window.
You want to go out there and see what's going on. Now you're going to actually get in trouble.
Now you're a criminal.
I mean, you could actually
be insane.
Yeah, that's...
It's thank you, Sarah, for the call tonight, but that's what they're doing, apparently, and somebody's going to have to challenge it in court to overturn this nonsense.
It's your freedom. You are free to do what we tell you.
The toll-free number, you're free to look where we tell you at this point. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, we are going to check into the poppy fields, see what's going on there. It's Free Talk Live.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,327, silver at $14.82, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,589. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, imprisoned WikiLeaks publisher Julian Assange scored 2 legal victories Monday when a Swedish court refused prosecutors' requests to have Assange arrested and extradited from Britain to Sweden. While the U.S. Justice Department said it would not prosecute Assange for the publication of the CIA Vault 7 files. The Anti-Media reports the Uppsala District Court rejected a request for a European arrest warrant for Assange, based on an opened 2010 investigation into sexual assault allegations that has twice been dropped before. Without the warrant, Assange cannot be extradited to Sweden to be questioned. Sweden's Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, who last month announced the reopening of the probe and Sweden's extradition request to Britain, said she's deciding whether to appeal the ruling. The pressure is now fully back on Britain alone to decide whether to extradite Assange to the United States to face espionage charges for the conduct of investigative journalism, as the U.S. indictment itself describes. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Minnesota's legislature has approved a spending plan that would set aside $900,000 over 1 year to assist homeowners in turning their lawns into bee-friendly habitats. The plan aims to replenish the food source of the rusty patch bumblebee, a fuzzy and fat bee on the brink of extinction, although it will also be beneficial to pollinators of all shapes and sizes. The Mind Unleashed reports that available funds will cover some of the costs associated with transitioning a traditional grass lawn into one full of wildflowers like creeping thyme, self-heal, ground plum, and dandelions, as well as clovers and grasses native to the area. Under the plan, 75% of the cost of converting a traditional lawn to a bee-friendly lawn will be reimbursed by the state of Minnesota's Board of Water and Soil Resources, with up to 90% of the cost covered in areas considered to have a high potential to support the rusty patch bee. Protesting both the individual cruelty of U.S. President Donald Trump and the globally ascendant politics of hate he represents, tens of thousands took to the streets in London and across the UK Tuesday, as Trump enjoys royal treatment from the British government on his first official state visit. The Anti-Media reports that Trump claimed in a tweet Monday that he had not yet seen any protests, but the demonstrations Tuesday were impossible to miss, with the 20-foot-tall Trump baby blimp flying over London and crowds of Britons pouring into the streets throughout the country. Journalist Shasta Aziz told the crowd gathered at a London rally on Tuesday that the protest is about Trumpism, quote, the hatred and poverty that is spreading, end quote. The demonstration and marches kicked off Tuesday morning as Trump met with British Prime Minister Theresa May, who is resigning Friday after failing to negotiate a Brexit deal. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Pushed to the breaking point after constantly being taken to task without ever hearing a word of thanks for what it does around here, an overwhelmed and infuriated nation announced in February that it was trying, okay? Jesus Christ. A poll of the American populace revealed that 33% felt they were doing pretty damned well, thank you, while another 28% just wanted 2 freaking minutes without somebody breathing down their neck.
We're trying as hard as we can here. How about cutting some little slack for a change, huh? You know what? This is just bullshit. I do not need this shit.
Christ Almighty, sources added. God distanced himself from the entire right-wing fundamentalist Christian movement, saying that he did not believe pregnancies result from his divine will. The Almighty Father went on to dismiss capital punishment, gun rights, the anti-abortion movement, and the efforts of the Westboro Baptist Church, while adding that he and Christian conservatives, quote, no longer saw eye to eye on the majority of issues. And physicists discovered that the entirety of our known universe is actually the fictional setting of a cop show called Hard Case.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free. Take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I want to keep talking about this drag racing thing, and then we're going to get into Silver Dave. You have a story about poppy fields in Afghanistan and the purported eradication efforts regarding. Because remember, we've seen the photos of the troops standing guard over these fields.
Drug war.
Yes.
So-called drug war.
Yeah, so we're going to get deeper into that. But actually, Sarah brought up a really interesting article here tonight that we had no idea about, out of Albuquerque. Now, of course, she's in favor of this. But here's a story from the Albuquerque Journal at abqjournal.com. Watching an illegal street race may soon be a crime in its own right in New Mexico's largest city. The Albuquerque City Council on Monday approved an update to the traffic code that would allow police to cite those watching prohibited street races or even spectators, quote, at a location where preparations are being made for such events. So if if they're tuning up their cars and you're standing and watching them, let's say you are interested in cars and, you want to learn what's going on under the hood. Well, don't watch them tune that car up, because if that car goes on a street race, then all of a sudden you're guilty of what they're going to make into, well, I'll tell you the penalty coming up. I'm shocked by this. The bill passed 6-3, with supporting counselors calling it a new way for police to temper, if not eliminate, potentially dangerous high-speed activity. Opponents argued that Albuquerque's police don't have the manpower to ticket people for standing around. That's their only argument against this, is they need more cops to enforce it. That you are in a really bad situation when not a single city councilor says, what about the right to assemble? I mean, this is public places.
And if you live nearby and you hear a commotion going outside, you might need to stay in just in case it is a drag race, because then you're going to get in trouble for going out there. So you got to stay inside.
Stay inside your house.
Stay inside your house. Hey, curfews, everybody. Welcome
Shelter
to America.
in place. Sponsor Brad Winter said he was uncertain about how much impact the law could have, but he said he's witnessed racing activity near Balloon Fiesta Park that shocked him.
Oh, sounds horrible.
Describing hundreds gathered in a scene that he likened to the Fast and the Furious film franchise.
Millions of children are killed every year from drag racing.
I imagine every now and then there's some accidents from drag racing. I don't know how many deaths there are, but you could probably find a couple over however long drag races have been going on. It's just inevitable, right? Like, speed enough cars around for long enough, somebody's going to get run into. He said the experience compelled him to pursue this legislation, that other cities in the U.S. have experienced some positive results with similar laws. Really? Does this exist where you live, where it's actually illegal to watch people drive cars in a racing fashion down the street? I mean, this is just, to me, unbelievable that this already exists somewhere, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised by these things anymore. He says it's not a cure-all. In fact, will it make a dent? I'm not sure if it will, but at least it will give police another tool. Another tool to harass the very people that
they claim to protect.
Yeah, well, that haven't committed any kind of actual crime.
And you think if you're walking down the street and you see some people starting to do something, you better get out of there, just in case they might be about to drag race, that you don't want to get in trouble. So
They're going to make it so if you don't turn them in, it'll be an arrest.
So how long before this gets overturned after the ACLU joins forces with one of the victims of these police and sues them for, $50, $60, $100,000 for violation of the right to peaceably assemble?
I certainly hope the ACLU would get involved in these cases, and that's why I'm shocked that this already exists in other places, or they're claiming similar ordinances exist. Perhaps they have not yet been challenged anywhere. Maybe they're not being enforced. So I don't know. Again, if you know more about this and you want to weigh in, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. The bill is not passed yet. It still has to have the mayor's approval. Tim Keller, spokesbureaucrat there for Mr. Keller, says he supports it. The law would likely take effect sometime this summer. Albuquerque police commanders spoke in favor of the bill. Of course, they want more arrests, man. They just salivate. They love the idea of being able to arrest somebody for looking in the wrong direction. That's what we're talking about here. Somebody looking at something that has been deemed to be illegal. Well, is now witnessing any crime actually going to be a crime in itself? Is watching somebody spray paint the side of a bridge, is that going to be a crime? Anytime you see something happen and you don't snitch, is that now going to be a crime? Will you now be obligated to snitch on your neighbors for doing something illegal?
Well, actually, I think the answer is yes, if we were to follow a line in the direction things are going.
It's frightening. The police said they want it. Monday's meeting saying they don't chase the racers themselves since it's a safety hazard. So now they get to go after all the people standing around. It's a lot easier to make those arrests. This allows them to tackle the issue in a new manner. Racing is, quote, definitely a serious public safety concern, said Commander Zach Wesley from the Valley area. When it comes to illegal drag racing, the story says here, spectators are part of the bigger problem, said Councilor Don Harris prior to voting for the bill. Quote, it's not just merely standing around doing something innocent. You're encouraging someone to do something which is definitely dangerous. It is not morally neutral behavior. As part of the traffic code, a violation would be a petty misdemeanor, punishable by a $500 fine or 90 days in jail, according to the council's city attorney.
Part of it is these guys are just looking for a law to pass. Like, they're just looking to do something with their career. They need to do something, so they're just like, well, what can we do? Well, we could do this. They just trying to think of stuff, and that's really disturbing.
It's symbolic for them. Yeah, it's, well, vote for me. I tried to stop the drag racers. We're cracking down on all these race watchers.
I like drag racing. I say drag race. I say do it, but that's just me.
It's probably best to do it on a track, a closed track, where you're not gonna careen off the road into a building or something like that.
But it's just fun.
I bet it is. I mean, I'm not. I don't have. I've never really been into like racing generally. I find like video games racing to be like one of the most boring style games out there. I don't understand why people find them to be interesting.
I like Grand Theft Auto.
That's different.
There's
right?
some racing in Grand Theft
There's
Auto.
a little bit of racing in Grand Theft Auto, but it's a lot. There's a lot more to that game. And I will say I liked Road Rash back in the day. Right,
oh, the biking one, right?
Yeah, that was on the Sega Genesis, where you could just bash the crap out of the other characters, right? So it wasn't just your typical, you got to pass everybody. You can just literally beat your way to the front of the pack. That was kind of fun. They, brought a different twist to something that is just the same old formula time and time again.
What's grocery shopping with not full contact grocery shopping? There's only 2 watermelons left. Get out of the way, Grandma. That's mine.
Prior to voting against the legislation, Councilors Ken Sanchez and Cynthia Borrego both expressed concern that APD didn't have enough personnel to enforce the law at current staffing levels. Borrego also said she thought it could sow division. She said, quote, it creates an us versus them situation with our youth, and that concerns me greatly. All right, that's a decent point. But then again, the government's been doing that forever with laws like, arresting the youth for having a drink under the age of 21, which I'm sure all of these city councilors did, and probably most of the cops, or arresting the youth for possession of marijuana or some other nonviolent thing. Clarissa Pena also voted against the bill, but councilors who voted for it said they're ready to try something to curb the problem. Several said they see in their own districts One critic during public comment said it would be insane to ticket someone as a racing spectator just because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. But don't worry, Counselor Diane Gibson said she's confident that's not the intent. Quote, I don't think it's going to be some guy walking by just willy-nilly that police will be interested in. Well, yeah, they will if he's black, or if he's Hispanic, or if he's under the age of 25. Quote, she says, obviously it's the people who are out there almost as if it's a picnic to watch this. That's just it. The police aren't going to enforce this with your intentions. The police are going to enforce it the way they want to. If you're there and they say that's a drag race, you're under arrest.
The more arrests they get, the better they like it. I mean,
and
they
the more
money, the more money they get. So it's not like they're
more coming up.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa,
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com. I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge Wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Join us on the radio. Take control of the airwaves. 855-450-3733. Also, there is our Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. We're talking about prohibitions. We started talking about prohibiting people from looking at a thing, specifically street racing, going on in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That is on its way to being passed, where you could be fined $500 and spend up to 90 days in jail for looking at the wrong thing. And to me, that is just shocking. I hope the ACLU works to oppose this and somebody gets it overturned. It hasn't passed yet, but it's likely going to, according to a spokesperson for the mayor there. And then we talk about other prohibitions. Coming up, we'll get into a story you brought in, Silver Dave, about prohibition of drugs, specifically opiates and the poppy plants that are used and processed into those opiates. But first, I do want to make sure that you know about AnyPay. I had the pleasure of using AnyPay, I think, over the last 3 days. I think I had bought some barbecue today. Yesterday I had breakfast with it, and then on Sunday I had I think I had 2 meals with AnyPay. AnyPay is a wonderful app that you can download onto your iOS or Android device. AnyPay.global is the company behind it, and it was founded by some co-hosts here on Free Talk Live, Derek and Steven. They were here last week, actually, on Tuesday night. And they make it super easy to accept payments in cryptocurrency. So whether you are a brick-and-mortar, mom-and-pop retail business, or you just want to have an easy ability to accept a payment on your smartphone, whether you got a tablet or a smartphone, the app will work for you, and it's super easy to accept Bitcoin, BTC, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, and several others. Go to helpmetakebitcoin.com, and you can, if you're brand new to cryptocurrency, that'll walk you right through all the steps that you need to take, and there's only a few of them. It's a very short process. Matter of moments, you're up and running and accepting cryptocurrency from your friends, from your customers, from whoever wants to give it to you. Helpmetakebitcoin.com, and yes, it can be used online as well. You can give somebody the payment URL, so you generate a payment URL with it, and then just send them that URL. You can totally do that. With helpmetakebitcoin.com, or just look for the AnyPay app in your Google or Apple app stores. So, Silver Dave joining us here in the studio tonight. You have had some military experience. Silver Dave, how many years were you in the military?
10 years, Ian.
10 years of your life.
That's right.
And so you know a thing or two about what it's like and what the BS is and where it is, and I imagine it's all over the place. But you've got a story about those poppy fields that we've heard a thing or two about over in Afghanistan. Tell me about it.
That's right. So just a little background. So I spent the second half of that 10 years, about 5 years, in the Special Forces as a Green Beret.
Okay.
And so I had a really full experience.
That's the Army, right?
That's right. That's the Army. But you get a little more full experience. You get to see a little more. You go a little further, a little deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just happen to be doing a little looking online, because I'm always just seeing what the mainstream is sort of receiving. And this article really just caught my attention. It caught my attention because it gave me the hysterical laughter. I mean, I still, every time I look at this picture. So, this article, I'm just going to get, we'll just get
Where is
right
it
into
from? What's the source?
Yeah, so the source is...
Look right at the top. There's probably a URL right at the very top in like super small print.
Army.mil.
Okay. This is a military website.
Yeah, army.mil/news/current tops.
Okay.
And yeah, so this is an official article. This is incredible to me. This is so funny. So here we go. The article title says, "Troops working to eradicate poppy fields in Afghanistan," and they've got a picture of a guy with a stick. He's a guy in a uniform with the bulletproof vest and all his kit on, and he's got a stick, and he's hitting a poppy plant with a stick. Now, this to me is really funny because they're spending $20 billion a day in Afghanistan or something like that, and there's a, quote, war on drugs, and the top technology we have to eliminate the drug trafficking is one guy with a stick. Let me read a little more of this article. It says, Fab Shamazulai Afghanistan, May 29, 2012.
It's old, but it's still great.
Yeah. Oh, this is so funny to me. Afghan National Army and 5th Battalion, 20th Infantry soldiers teamed up earlier this month to locate and destroy several acres of poppy opium fields.
Well, now, if you're doing it with a stick, it's going to take 100 times longer.
Well, if you're getting paid by the hour,
That's what I'm saying.
Now, the reason that, this really gets me because, I talk about the drug war all the time.
Okay.
And that, this really hits me because Afghanistan, for a lot of people who haven't been there.
Were you there?
I was there.
For how long?
And I was there for about 6 months.
Okay.
And I went to
Combat?
a lot. That's right, combat. I had the full experience. I was in the special forces team where we did direct action missions. We went in by helicopter during a period of darkness, killer capture, high value targets. I mean, it was a really full experience. Some people would have said I got lucky because I said I wanted action when I went to the special forces. That's why I went to it, and I really got it. But now, as you can see, I can't do that job anymore because I'm not willing to participate in these types of activities because of how it's not for freedom, it's not for liberty at all. But let's to give you a
aren't they
little,
stopping the drugs?
No,
while
so
they're
this
there?
is what I want to talk about. So you have this country, right, that it's literally covered in poppy and weed plants. And we have all these pictures of us, we took pictures of us standing there hey, here's me standing there with a machine gun.
Mm-hmm.
And so at first you look at the picture and it's here, but then if you look a little more closely to the background of every one of these pictures, it's hilarious to me because every one of these pictures is literally, the background is giant fields of poppy. This whole country is covered in poppy. But you know what else is covered in? Soldiers from 70 different countries all over the world covering, it's not just America, they're all in on it. This whole country is covered in military, it's covered in poppy, and it's not just growing, it's being processed. There's stacks of scored poppy heads, scored where they're juicing them, they're regrown, and we're not destroying them. And you know what they used to tell us? They told us, don't burn the crops, don't destroy the facilities.
Really?
Because we don't want to hurt the local economy. That's literally what they told us. Don't destroy the fields because we don't want to hurt the local economy.
So what you're saying is this is total propaganda with this guy with the stick.
Oh, gosh, it is. Because here's the thing. If they wanted to stop the poppy plants there, 1 hour, in 1 hour, they could destroy all the fields. They could shut it down. They have total control of that country. It is covered in soldiers. It is covered in poppy plants. I mean, so riddle me this, Batman. How is it possible that there's a country that is covered in poppy plants that are being processed? It's also covered in soldiers, and there's also a, quote, war on drugs. Meanwhile, the effort to stop the drugs is a guy with a stick. A guy with a stick. Look at this picture. I want to have this framed.
It's hilarious.
This is the funniest thing I could ever imagine.
All right, we're going to continue here with more on the war on drugs that isn't in Afghanistan, because you were there, Silver Dave, and unfortunately, but you were there. And so you've got experience. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up whatever you want. And if they eradicate all the marijuana plants and the poppy, what are the soldiers going to get high with? We're coming up.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do You think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Maybe you were in the military. Maybe you still are. And you want to talk about the sham of the war on drugs over in Afghanistan, where on one hand you get a propaganda piece like you brought in here tonight, Dave, that is actually from back in 2012 out of Afghanistan, showing the purported eradication efforts, which includes one man with a stick like swatting at plants in a field, compared to, as you pointed out, Dave, the reality that there's soldiers everywhere and there's poppy everywhere, and you even said marijuana plants as well.
And they have amazing irrigation systems. This
Really?
country, they have the most amazing irrigation systems. The water is flowing in these nice grid lines as it goes in 90-degree boxes, and it flows down. It's just the thing is that Afghanistan is one of the most incredible farm countries in the world. So it makes perfect sense they target it. And to me, this is part of the reason for this war. Part of the reason why they faked these, a lot of different events in order to start a war in this country was because they needed it to grow the drugs, and they needed a country that they could prohibit people from visiting for tourists, because you can't just if you wanted to you
can't just fly in.
I hear that Afghanistan's really nice this time of year, and maybe it actually has some beautiful places, but you can't go there, and they control that. And so this is a venue, and everyone's talking about heroin epidemic in New Hampshire and all these people. Well, that to me is really something, because these guys are behind it. And I don't mean the soldiers. I'm not if you're a soldier, I'm not upset at you. In fact, a lot of the soldiers and people that are working for the government at the lower levels, they believe they're doing the right thing and they're helping, and kudos for that. What they don't realize is that high up, deep down, deep dark in the system, these guys are using this as a means to produce the drugs and sell it. They use the local folks that live there to grow it and to farm it. The soldiers are there pretending there's a war, but it's really a giant money transfer and a control action.
Do you think the military is actually involved in moving the drugs? Like, remember there was that movie from like back in the I don't know when they made them. I think it was like Denzel Washington or whatever, but it was about like back in the 70s there were actually, cargo planes from the military that were smuggling the drugs. Do you think that's going on?
No, I don't, because I think it would be a lot harder to keep soldiers from talking if they knew that they were transporting the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe in a small scale, when they believe that they're taking the drugs like for testing, or they think they're doing it for certain things, but I think that they have, built systems, like they have the local farmers are farming it. I mean, like that's exactly what the local farmers are farming it. And when I went to these places, and like when we'd go on missions, we would go, and during the nighttime, we would maneuver into different buildings looking for certain people. We had names, we had pictures. We were like the Gestapo. It's really terrible when you really think about it. And so like we were looking for these guys, they're high value targets. And here's the thing about it is that, if you were a next door neighbor, like, and we'd be going into a house with zip ties and guns, and we'd blow a door sometimes. And so like, if this was your neighbor, you're looking out your window and you see guys with uniforms and guns and explosions, and you're bringing your neighbors out, zip-tied, sitting them out on the front lawn, and you see them coming in your house next, you might want to defend your house against these foreign invaders. And as soon as you try to like defend your family, now all of a sudden you're a terrorist. Yep. And guess what? Now you might actually find yourself as a name and a picture that we were looking for the next mission.
Wow.
But so like we'd go in these places, and during the daytime, we would do what's called a strong point. So like during the daytime, like usually at night, people wouldn't want to fight us because they didn't have night vision.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the capabilities. So during the daytime that's when the gunfights usually happen. And we would strong point, we'd find like the biggest fortress building we could, and we'd like put up a security perimeter right on the top of it. And then they had these giant barrier walls around these places. And so like we'd have rest cycles. And like usually, when you're on the rooftops, guys wanted to get kills. They wanted to get, tick marks on their belt, so to speak.
That's why they joined. These are the people, the sick people.
Yeah. When I was that way too, I was sick. Yeah. And but I thought that we were killing bad guys, and it wasn't until I had this experience that I started to have a different view, and now I have a totally different view.
What changed that for you? I mean, like, was there a turning point, or was it sort of a gradual thing? Was there one thing in particular that you can remember?
Well, there were several things that sort of culminate, and some of them were the massive waste factor. Like they would be building these schools, they'd be spending millions and millions of dollars to build these schools that were like public
after they destroyed
schools.
them?
Yeah, but these schools were built, they wouldn't last 6 months. This stuff was going to fall apart.
Really?
And no one cared, and they were upset. They had to cook the books, so they needed to waste as much money as possible, because the more money that was wasted, the more books could be cooked, and the more people could make personal profits off of special
And it was all
deals.
for show, is what you're saying.
And it was all for show.
They did it real cheap just so they could show, look how great our soldiers
all
are.
going to fall apart. 6 months later, these schools are going to fall apart. They're spending millions of dollars. And so that was really disturbing to me. And that was only the tip of the iceberg. And then when I see these giant fields and all these giant drugs, and that it wasn't being stopped, like in 1 hour, that whole country's covered. The whole country's covered in heroin. Now I can't, or poppy, which is the base plant. They take the poppy plant, and it's got a pod on the top, and they put a razor blade and they score the pod, and it drips out a oozy juice, and that is called opium. And then the opium is then further processed to make many different drugs, including heroin. And so I can't necessarily say what percentage of the world's heroin supply comes from Afghanistan, but my guess is most of it.
Wow.
That's my guess, is most of it. And if they wanted to stop it, there's helicopters, fixed-wing aircraft, Predator drones. They have all kinds of stuff. And if they wanted to shut it down in 1 hour, they could shut it down. But like I said, they told us, don't burn the crops.
Mm-hmm.
Don't destroy the processing facilities. We don't want to hurt the local economy. And that was like, I mean, at the time, I absorbed that and I took it, because it's like cognitive dissonance. And, like you're getting paid.
They're willing to blow people up and destroy lives as though that doesn't hurt the local economy, but leave the drug trade alone.
But I also wonder, is it that you're not harming the local economy, or you're not hurting their economy?
You mean the government's economy?
Oh, yeah, because the government's been caught selling drugs in the past.
Well, but you got to consider something. I just want to make sure I'm clear. I don't believe the government is selling the drugs. I believe that deep down, like this very high up where people are going to be profiting from it. But it's not like Sergeant so-and-so who's selling the drugs. It's not Captain Clink or whoever. It's not these guys. And they don't know that they're part of it. They actually, as far as they know, they're actually looking for terrorists. They're looking for bad guys. They don't know. It's not their fault. It's really not their fault. It's not their fault.
It's their fault for not knowing better. I mean, you can be ignorant and still be at fault of the things that you do.
But the tough thing is,
it's sad
when your source of information is the mainstream news,
sure, and the
which
government
is owned by the people who, in my opinion, also own the drug trade, who also own the politicians. They buy the top politicians; they're in their pocket. And when you get your information from them, they're not going to tell you these things. So it's kind of like, I hear you that ultimately everything is one's own fault. If you wanted to, eventually you got to hold accountability somewhere. But I try not to hold blame to anyone like that because I feel like I would rather just try to help enlighten people.
Right. There's no need to blame somebody for it.
Yeah,
people should be forgiven. And
like instead, if you're looking for information, do a search and type in this. Type troops working to eradicate poppy fields in Afghanistan. Google search that and look at the picture of this guy hitting plants with a stick.
Captain Syed Baba Mansouri, the officer in charge of the 1/2-205 Afghan National Army Corps, destroys opium poppy plants discovered during a routine patrol outside of the village of Samagay. Now, I Googled his name, Syed Baba Mansouri, just to see, where else this guy popped up. And the Google image search showed another picture of what I presume to be him with the stick and 7 or 5 or 6 guys in the background just standing around doing nothing. So they weren't trying to do anything to eradicate these plants.
Hello, they spend $10 billion a day.
It's a photo
op. A guy with a stick. It's a photo op.
Yeah, there's more on the way here. 855-450 free like freedom. Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free to join us here if you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. We're talking about the rampant corruption, the propaganda surrounding the military and its purported involvement in the war on drugs. But Silver Dave, who was actually in Afghanistan, says it's BS. And they're actually just over there essentially guarding. And this is something we've seen for years, the classic picture of the soldier with his sunglasses on and the helmet standing in a poppy field or in front of a poppy field with just waves of poppy plants behind him and doing nothing. To this propaganda piece that you brought in tonight, Dave, flashback to 2012 where one man has a stick and he's going through ostensible fields of poppy plants, supposedly eradicating them, but come on, that's obviously not a serious operation. So talking about all that, you're welcome to join the discussion here. Our number's 855-450, free like freedom. And if you're trying to reach the cryptocurrency marketplace, or you want to spread mass awareness of your crypto technology, either way, you need a communications company that specializes in the field. You can't just, rely on some standard PR firm. Leveraging 35-plus different brands, part of the Investor Brand Network and more than 5,000 downstream distribution partners, Cryptocurrency Wire combines the power of specialization with mass market reach. And with their help, you can start connecting with crypto-friendly journalists and more than 1.6 million followers. Their commitment is to get the most eyes possible on your big news while it's fresh. Domestic, international, they can reach 56 different countries and also provide translation services. Even if your company is an important, relevant newsmaker, you need someone that specializes in the field to get your message heard. CryptocurrencyWire.com, and we've actually used them here at Free Talk Live. It's CryptocurrencyWire.com. So again, if you want to join us on our Discord server, please do over at discord.lrn.fm. It's always great having you in, Dave. It's actually the first time you and I have done a show together, like a full show. I'm glad that you're here. The expertise is second to none. I mean, it's not every day that you get to talk to a special forces. Is it Green Berets? Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Is that a division? How does that break down?
Well, so Green Beret is sort of the slang term
for special forces.
For special forces, but I say that just so people know. And sometimes
mess with the best, die like the rest. Is that one of their slogans? I remember seeing that on a patch somewhere.
Sounds like something from the movie Hackers.
No, well, actually, the motto of the special forces is
Go ahead. Sorry.
Is Dio Presso Liber, just liberate those oppressed.
Oh, really? That's a better motto.
And the funny thing, John F. Kennedy, who right before he died gives this really famous speech where he says, "We are oppressed around the world by a monolithic beast that operates in secrecy. Nothing is revealed." And he gives this speech also is trying to activate an executive order that allows the Treasury to start printing its currency instead of the Federal Reserve. And then like a week and a half later, he ends up dead. I feel like that's not a coincidence. Well, John F. Kennedy is actually the one that gave the Green Beret to the Special Forces and actually really enhanced the Special Forces program. And so I kind of like him and think that he was really good. And so I always feel like some part of even my purpose is to help liberate those oppressed. But I felt like
and now you're doing it more effectively.
And now I feel like I'm doing it more effectively. And I want to just kind of touch back a little bit on the fact that, the most of the news that people are getting comes from the mainstream. And to me, the mainstream media is owned by the power brokers of the world who own the politicians. They own the top things. And in my opinion, they own the drug productions, or they own the drug businesses. And that's why I think that they have the leverage to teach. Like in high school, they have health class to teach kids not to do drugs. And of course, they tell kids about all the different types of drugs that are out there and what they do and how to do them. And right after that, we all wanted to do drugs. And so to me, I feel like they knew that if they told a bunch of rebellious teenagers not to do this stuff, that they were going to do it. So I feel like it's all part of a giant, it's like a big conspiracy. And people don't like the word conspiracy, but if you think that people aren't trying to make money, they're not trying to get more power, then I feel like that's really, not wise to think that's not happening, especially the most powerful people on this planet. How do we think they got so powerful? And so my point is to say, if you're thinking that you're like, well, Silver Dave, I'm curious. I wonder if this is possible. Well, I want you to go and do this search and search the troops working to eradicate poppy fields in Afghanistan. Do the search. Look at the picture of this guy that's hitting the plants with a stick. And then I want you to also do a search for pictures of poppy fields in Afghanistan and see how many tons of pictures there are. And then I want you to ask yourself,
fully grown poppies. This guy's I don't even know what he's swatting at.
And this is, he's swatting at a dead field of dead stuff that's after season, that's already been harvested.
Right.
And so I want you to look at this, and then I want you to ask yourself a question. Is the drug war really real? And you ask yourself, with helicopters and fixed-wing airplanes and $10 billion a day, could they actually stop these drugs in a better way? Is it possible that they have better technology than this guy with a stick? And if you think that's possible, then you might be on the right track. Because if you listen to what Fox News or CNN or what these guys are telling you, then you may not see it this way. But if you start to really think and analyze and start detecting, you might notice that their story doesn't make sense.
That's true for a lot of things, right? Not just the war on drugs, but there's just so much that there's the presentation that the government, through their schools, through the mainstream media, as you pointed out, is presenting to you as the truth. And you don't have to scrape off much more than the surface layer to really find out, we've been lied to here. And that was, for me, that was the war on drugs that brought me into the Liberty Movement, Dave, when I was a teenager. And I found out that they'd lied to me about marijuana when I tried it for the first time. And, it actually was pretty fun. And it wasn't this horrifying experience that they would try to project.
You didn't, kill your whole family right after you smoked your first hit?
No, not at all.
There's commercials that actually I see from the 60s or the 70s where they say if you smoke a reefer, you'll murder your whole family and you kill your dog.
Well, yeah, that's what happens in Reefer Madness, right? Doesn't one of the characters go off and kill their lover or something like that in that movie? So yeah, you don't have to scratch much more than below the surface to really realize that you've been lied to, and then then you have to be careful, because then the Pandora's box opens up, or this world spreads out in front of you of this sort of unending rabbit hole that you can dive as deep into as you want to, and it gets really scary and overwhelming and can lead you to really some dangerous kind of states of being. So you have to actually really be careful that you don't go too deep, I think, into whatever is the truth out there, because it can get really horrifying.
And we're actually talking about some dangerous stuff here, folks. So if you're actually getting this, I mean, you're lucky to get this, and I'm happy that you're listening, and I thank you for listening. And I hope that if you're receiving this, I hope that you don't just keep it to yourself, and feel free to talk to your friends about it. Because here's another note: is think about, by outlawing these substances, they were able to raise the price a bazillion %.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
like
true.
this stuff costs a penny to make, but they sell it for $100,000. I mean, you think about what a gram of this stuff would cost a penny, but a gram, they're selling it for hundreds of dollars or whatever it is. Yeah. Oh, $64.99. How do you know, Dave? No, I'm just kidding.
Johnson, was there something for you that was like a turning point, or to coming to understand freedom and all that?
No, I never really had a specific turning point. I sought it from a young age.
Mm-hmm.
I started listening to, ironically, because I found that I listened to a lot of George Carlin when I was younger, and I found that as I went on through time, I started to realize that actually, while he had a lot of positive views on free speech, he was more of just a nihilist who wanted to see kind of everything. He's like one of these guys who wants to watch the world burn. And, he made all these things about, corporate owners and talking about, how people couldn't make money and the American dream was a complete fiction. And he was giving these kinds of speeches while he was making $1 million a show, and came from nothing, talking about how the American dream is garbage for everyone else but him, well, not, it's like kind of one of these unspoken kind of BS acts that was kind of going on. And just over time, I had seen that kind of happening with politics, and I sought out libertarianism when I first was starting to be able to vote. So I sought out a party that would match with mine, because I knew the incumbent parties weren't it. And but that was kind of right around the time that I found Harry Brown, and then found Free Talk Live pretty immediately after that.
Long time ago.
Very long time ago.
The toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us here, 855-450 free. We got a full hour to go, plenty of time for you. We're going to continue on the war on drugs, but we're going to Oregon, where marijuana is purportedly legal. Turns out the government goons in Oregon, they think there's too much pot now in Oregon, and they're going to do something about it. It's Free Talk Live.
Have you heard the warning from the dead doctors don't lie guy? I'm talking about Dr. Joel Wallach. He says if you have a 4-inch medical chart, if you take prescription drugs for high cholesterol or high blood pressure, arthritis, joint pains, or other health issues, the medical profession is failing you. They're using you for an ATM machine. That's what he says. He has a free lecture revealing what pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know. There's been groundbreaking research and discoveries on how to effectively treat or eliminate over 900 different diseases naturally. And it's all in his free lecture called Deadly Recipe. You want it free? Call him toll-free at 855-79-YOUNG. You ready? 855-79-YOUNG. Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, says there's no reason why we shouldn't live to be at least 100 and have a great time getting there.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,327, silver at $14.82, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,589. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, imprisoned WikiLeaks publisher Julian Assange scored 2 legal victories Monday when a Swedish court refused prosecutors' requests to have Assange arrested and extradited from Britain to Sweden. While the U.S. Justice Department said it would not prosecute Assange for the publication of the CIA Vault 7 files. The Anti-Media reports the Uppsala District Court rejected a request for a European arrest warrant for Assange, based on an opened 2010 investigation into sexual assault allegations that has twice been dropped before. Without the warrant, Assange cannot be extradited to Sweden to be questioned. Sweden's Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, who last month announced the reopening of the probe and Sweden's extradition request to Britain, said she's deciding whether to appeal the ruling. The pressure is now fully back on Britain alone to decide whether to extradite Assange to the United States to face espionage charges for the conduct of investigative journalism, as the U.S. indictment itself describes. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Minnesota's legislature has approved a spending plan that would set aside $900,000 over 1 year to assist homeowners in turning their lawns into bee-friendly habitats. The plan aims to replenish the food source of the rusty-patched bumblebee, a fuzzy and fat bee on the brink of extinction, although it will also be beneficial to pollinators of all shapes and sizes. The Mind Unleashed reports that available funds will cover some of the costs associated with transitioning a traditional grass lawn into one full of wildflowers like creeping thyme, self-heal, ground plum, and dandelions, as well as clovers and grasses native to the area. Under the plan, 75% of the cost of converting a traditional lawn to a bee-friendly lawn will be reimbursed by the state of Minnesota's Board of Water and Soil Resources, with up to 90% of the cost covered in areas considered to have a high potential to support the rusty patch bee. Protesting both the individual cruelty of U.S. President Donald Trump and the globally ascendant politics of hate he represents, tens of thousands took to the streets in London and across the UK Tuesday, as Trump enjoys royal treatment from the British government on his first official state visit. The Anti-Media reports that Trump claimed in a tweet Monday that he had not yet seen any protests, but the demonstrations Tuesday were impossible to miss, with the 20-foot-tall Trump baby blimp flying over London and crowds of Britons pouring into the streets throughout the country. Journalist Shasta Aziz told the crowd gathered at a London rally on Tuesday that the protest is about Trumpism, quote, the hatred and poverty that is spreading, end quote. The demonstration and marches kicked off Tuesday morning as Trump met with British Prime Minister Theresa May, who is resigning Friday after failing to negotiate a Brexit deal. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A Colorado man reminisced Monday about a simpler time when he only masturbated to still images on the internet. 36-year-old Timothy Barchuk, who now says he requires multiple streaming hardcore videos just to get excited, willfully reflected on the days of waiting for slowly loading images of naked women to appear.
Look at this picture of Phoebe Cates. Sure, you can pull it up in 2 seconds now. Back in the old days, you'd have to wait for it to materialize on your screen pixel by pixel. It's not about her tits, which are nice, but it's about waiting for them. Nowadays, you could pull up 8 different videos of anal sex at once. Who cares?
In local news, the person who will one day become the warlord ruler of what was once Nebraska is born in an Omaha hospital. And in other news, a man and woman get drunk and blow $30,000 in one night. A lonely college student calls up his mom to talk about Harold and Kumar, and another dead body is tossed on a heap somewhere. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you're invited to join us here. Take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And in the studio with you tonight, it's Ian
Johnson.
Silver Dave.
As we continue, if you're just tuning in, we were talking about the insane war on drugs, the BS of the war on drugs, focusing on Afghanistan and how, it's basically just the U.S. military protecting the drug dealers and the poppy growers and such over there. And now we take it to a different level, to the purported legal state of Oregon, where marijuana has been legal for purchase for several years now. And the Associated Press reporting that there's so much pot, the government goons are going to do something about it. So we're back to not a war on marijuana, but let's get into the story. Oregon, according to the AP, is awash in pot, glutted with so much legal weed that if growing were to stop today, it could take more than 6 years, by one estimate, to smoke or eat it all. Now the state is planning to curb production. 5 years after voters legalized recreational marijuana, lawmakers have given the Oregon Liquor Control Commission more leeway to deny new pot-growing licenses based on supply and demand. So basically what you have here is the government gang saying they know when enough is enough. They know how much marijuana should be available, how much marijuana people want or need or should have on supply. No, we shouldn't let the market figure these things out. We government bureaucrats will be the ones who decide. And so they are going to just stop allowing people to get into the business. Now, of course, one thing that would solve this problem instantly would be for the federal government to get out of the way, and then Oregon could then send their marijuana out of the state. Because right now, everything that's grown within one state boundaries in a legal state, whether it's Oregon or Colorado or Washington or wherever, has to stay within those boundaries legally. It's a federal crime to take some out the back door and send it to Arizona or send it to Texas or some other place, or to even send it to one of the other legal states. If you're a grower in Oregon, as I understand it, you cannot send it south of the border down into California. So if a bunch of people want marijuana in California, if it's too expensive down there, well, too bad. You got a bunch of extra weed in Oregon. It just has to sit there. It's just going to have to sit and get old, get stale, rot away, get moldy. And then finally, once enough of it goes away, then the state government goons will let you grow some more of it. The bill passed in a 39-18 vote, the state house, after it was approved earlier in the Senate. It's aimed at not just reducing the huge surplus, but also at preventing the diversion of unsold legal marijuana into the black market, and forestalling a crackdown by federal prosecutors. Because, everybody knows that this is what happens. If you're a marijuana grower, and if you're a legal marijuana grower and you have extra marijuana you don't want it to rot. You don't want it to go bad. It's going to go bad over time. Like, you can keep it around for a long time. In the black market, some of the marijuana that gets to the streets may have been sitting in a warehouse for 6 months to a year prior to it actually, being sold. So, to some extent you can get away with it, but in a competitive marijuana market, you want to sell the freshest marijuana possible. In a legal marketplace, you want to be known for having fresh product, not stuff that's been sitting on the shelf for a year and a half or whatever. So what do? As a marijuana grower legally, there's all this tracking stuff that they do. They try to tag the plants with RFID chips. They want to know how many plants you have, at what stages you have the plants. There's the initial seedlings, then there's the growth stage, then there's the budding stage. There's these different stages. And I'm not a grower. I've known a few of them in my day, so I know a little bit about it. So they want to know everything. They want to know how much. But the one thing they can't know is exactly how much marijuana one plant is going to produce. You can know how tall the plants are. You can know how many plants there are. But ultimately, all you can really say is that there's a range, because one plant, even grown in the same conditions as another plant, isn't necessarily going to have the same amount of buds on it. So what do? If you are one of these operators, well, you can just have some of it go out the back door. You can't sell it all legally. There's too much. There's a glut of supply in Oregon. So, let's say you're pruning the plants or whatever. You pulling the buds off the plants. You have your bud tenders, I think they call them. These are basically hippies that you pay.
Yep.
Pay in marijuana. Essentially, all the marijuana you can smoke, and you get to clip all the
clips.
Yeah, you do the clippings. And so, okay, just throw 1 out of every 10 buds into this other basket over here. And then you've got 1/10 of your product that's going out the back door. You sell it on the black market to people that, the right people that and nobody has to be the wiser about that. So they think they're going to stop this from happening by restricting the number of licenses and, cracking down, and it's ridiculous. Democratic Governor Kate Brown, who intends to sign the bill, said, "The harsh reality is we have too much product on the market." According to the AP, supply is running twice as high as demand, meaning the surplus from last year's harvest alone could amount to roughly 2.3 million pounds of marijuana by the Liquor Commission's figures. That's the equivalent over 1 billion joints.
Wouldn't the market self-regulate? Like, if they grew too much stuff, then they have too much to sell, and the market doesn't need as much as there is, and so then some sellers would go out of business. And I feel like in a normal situation, the market would self-regulate itself. Yeah. But these lawmakers want to get in and get involved. I mean, who are these guys that can tell people what they can do?
They think they know everything.
Who are these guys? How in the world, dear Americans, how in the world is it possible that we are at a point where people believe they're free, and yet they tell us what we are allowed to have and what we're not allowed to have?
Regulation of the marijuana business is awful. And in places like California, it's actually hurting the marijuana business. They've actually really screwed it up there by regulating too much. I mean, any regulations are too much, but they've really overdone it in California. They're basically squeezing people out of business there. So it's really bad, and there's actually a shortage from what I understand down there. But in Oregon, and you're right, Dave, if there were a free market, then this problem would be solved by the market, because what could happen is if you've grown too much weed, well, then you have a fire sale. Okay, that's what you call it.
This goes on sale. Congratulations, customers. You win.
It's now half off. You can now buy twice as much marijuana.
Free.
Right. But the problem is there's probably, and again, I don't live in Oregon. I don't know all the rules there. I'm going to guess that there's a restriction imposed by the state government on how much you can buy as a customer. So if there's a restriction saying you can't buy more than an ounce a month, or whatever the rules are, an ounce a week or per visit or whatever it is, some sort of arbitrary number selected by the government, well, then a fire sale isn't going to help you that much, because once you hit your maximum, you're maxed out legally. You can't buy any more from that point. Now, again, I don't know exactly how it's working there, but that's how they could solve this problem.
Yeah, well, this economy, the economy is like a machine, and it's got all these things flowing here and there. And there's these crazy politicians, they keep putting restrictor valves on this random thing and that random thing. And the machine is jacked up. it's jacked up, and it's going to be more jacked up the more they restrict this and that randomly. And so, like, enough is enough. I mean, obviously, like, for a bunch of years, I've thought that we've gotten to a point where, I mean, to me, I feel like if you start really adding up all the taxes, you could actually, in my way of detecting, you'd actually pay everything. And then a lot of people think they only pay 20% or 30%. To me, I think if you add it all up, you almost give everything back to the system, either through taxes or through the additional cost you pay for everything you need or everything you don't need but are forced to buy.
It's a tremendous burden.
It's a tremendous burden. And, like, enough is enough. I mean, I feel like American people should unite together and start seeking real freedom.
Man, I wish they would. I mean, they think they're free because now they can smoke weed without getting arrested, but there's so many restrictions, so many regulations. This is not freedom. This
You're overpaying for everything, including the weeds.
Yeah, you are still overpaying, even though the prices come down. So even though because of the competition, price compared to the black market in these states has come down. We got more to say, and you can join us here as well. 855-450-FREE if you want. This is Free Talk Live.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehashed stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the insane war on drugs, or what is now the legal drug regulations, which is not the same thing as a war, and that they're not kicking down people's doors and setting the plants on fire or, beating them with a stick or whatever. But they are getting involved in people's business, and they're telling them how to run it. And they're saying, in Oregon, for instance, the politicians are saying they know best how the marijuana business should be run, even though they've probably never done anything but maybe smoked it at some point in their lives.
And lied about it.
Yeah, of course. And now coming in and saying, well, there's too much marijuana here in Oregon, so we need to tell you growers to stop. In fact, we're not going to allow anybody else to have a license until you start selling the existing surpluses of marijuana, and it's just it's frustrating. We'll continue with the story. Your calls and thoughts are also welcome. We're going to the phones and the fun, but also want to make sure you know about Bitcoin.com as your premier source for everything Bitcoin Cash related. In fact, just today they launched their local.bitcoin.com brand new website to allow you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash with people elsewhere in the world, or maybe right down the street from you. So it's a brand new site. It's just kind of getting the ball rolling. They're squashing some bugs as they come up. They got a great Telegram chat room where the people using the site are encountering, if there's an issue, they'll report it, and they're putting a list together of stuff that needs to get tweaked out. But it's a nice looking site, and it's working pretty well, it seems like, so far, although it's pretty early on. Local.bitcoin.com is where you can go if you want to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash with cash or other things. Maybe you want to buy one for you've got like a gift card or something like that you want to send to somebody, get some cryptocurrency or some Bitcoin Cash that way. You can also get the latest news and engage with the community on their Bitcoin forums over at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. So we go to Mason. He is in Gaffney, South Carolina, listening online to LRN.FM. Hello, Mason.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you're on the air.
All right. I was wondering about the whole tobacco grandfather clause.
What's
how
that
works. It's like they're changing the tobacco law to 21 in Virginia.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And so I was just wondering if there was like a grandfather clause, like if people in a certain month are.
Ooh, I don't know. Now, you're in South Carolina. Is there a proposal in South Carolina as well, or are you just concerned about Virginia generally?
I'm just concerned about Virginia generally. And I'm back, motherfucker.
Oh, you can't say that? Even though you didn't say it, I'm just going to dump you anyway because you're a jerk. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. The board op cut him pretty fast. Actually, I cut him pretty fast, too. But sorry, bro. But no, he does bring up every now and then these tool bags that call in from Twitch or wherever they're from. They will bring up a good issue, and this is a good issue. The issue of raising the age of smoking or using any nicotine-based product to 21. It's something that we actually had to deal with here recently in Keene because the Keene City Council, in all their wisdom, went ahead and passed the same stupid ordinance here. So now if you're 20 or 18 or 19, you have to go outside of Keene. You have to acquire your nicotine products outside of Keene or buy them illegally from somebody selling them to you illegally inside. So there's prohibition now.
So in Keene, you can't buy cigarettes as a 19 or 20-year-old?
That's correct.
Wow.
Nor can you possess them, Dave.
Wow.
So if you buy them legally in Swansea, the town to the south of Keene, you have to smoke them all in Swansea legally because if you're caught smoking them on the streets in Keene, you could be ticketed.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
That's how crazy it is.
I mean, to me, it's always a racket. It's hard to figure out what their real plan is, what their real intent is. I mean, in some cases,
They're just busybody city councilors.
Busybody, yeah. But I think that will increase the amount of people who start smoking. I mean, I just think the fact that it's illegal to smoke, like I think if you could smoke at any age, I think there would be a lot less smokers.
Because it's not as cool, you mean?
Because it's not as cool. That's right. Like I, as a kid, I was rebellious. I didn't like the system, and I got involved in a lot of things, and I did smoke cigarettes for a lot of my life. I don't now, but to me, I think that the fact that in America, I think that more people smoke, more people drink, more people do drugs, more people do all those things than most other countries. I suspect.
You think it's more rampant here?
I think so. I mean, there's statistics. B, are they even accurate? But I think even the mainstream statistics do show that Americans have more drug, alcohol, and smoking problems than a lot of other countries. And I think it's because of these prohibitions. I think that they figured out.
It contributes to it for sure.
And they actually got to, they get to tell people it's so horrible and bad for you. That's how they get to raise the price 20,000%. I think that's why they did it. They were able to just tell people it's so bad. But if they really cared, it's like if they really cared about your health, they'd make it a law that you had to eat 2 carrots every day or something. They don't care. They just want your money. Yeah. So I think they're going to get more money out of it. They think they'll get more people to smoke. Ooh, now you're going to be 20. Now it's even cooler to smoke when you're 16.
Right.
Oh my gosh, now you're a 21-year-old when you're a 16-year-old smoker.
I don't think there's anything that's, as far as the city council, I mean, I went to some of these council meetings where they discussed the issue. And, I mean, you could tell this was going to go through. You could tell the councilors, they want to look like they're doing something, right? They want to look like they are helping the community.
Congratulations.
That they're helping the youth. We're going to help the youth by giving them tickets and forcing them into court and making them hate, the government or whatever, which is probably a good thing.
Spending taxpayer money to enforce these laws that actually make your kids more likely
It's actually an excuse for the police to harass young people in the same way that they can harass, because if they see you walking down the street and they think that let's say you're carrying a beer, and of course open containers illegal in Keene, but either way, let's say you're on somebody's private property, you've got a beer in your hand, but you're 20 years old. If a cop sees you doing that and they think that you're under the age of 21, they can demand you identify yourself. And then they can arrest you for being, a minor in possession of alcohol. Now they can do the same thing with a cigarette. Now they can do the same thing with a vaporizer. So it just gives them even more of a reason to bother young people and to ticket young people.
Slip their hand right in everyone's back pockets again.
They're the class that doesn't fight back.
They don't. They don't know their rights.
And they don't pursue things legally. They don't vote.
Their mommy and daddy are, paying their way in college. This is a college town, by the way, for listeners that don't know. We're in Keene, New Hampshire. Mommy and daddy, they're going to pay the fine.
Part of that motivation.
They're not going to court. They're not going to fight the charge. They're not going to do any of that. And so it's just another way for them to make revenue. But none of them, I don't think that's what the counselors are thinking. I think that that's the way it's going to end up. That's what's the reality of it's going to be. But I think that they honestly believe they're doing something good. They really do.
If they're not thinking it, they should be, because I specifically said it to them to their face beforehand. So I don't know why they wouldn't be thinking that.
No, that was only to the committee. You can't speak to the whole city council.
Oh, well,
they represent you, but I don't think they're listening to you.
It was recorded on video, and made available.
That doesn't mean they watched it or actually heard what you were saying or listened to you. You were speaking, but were they listening?
Yeah.
They were hearing you.
La, 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 la.
Right. Just like the old Charlie Brown. Wah, wah, wah. So more coming up here. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. You can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Whether you want to talk about the war on drugs or whatever.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hempextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
You can't win if you don't enter, and you actually can improve your chances of winning a prize drawing if you wrinkle up your entry blank. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com, and I speak from experience. Why this works: if they'll be spinning the drum before drawing, your entry blank will move around more than, and not adhere to, other perfectly flat entry blanks. And if they don't spin the drum and merely reach into a box full of other perfectly flat entry blanks, many of which are sticking together, yours will feel different to the person reaching in. When you win, act surprised. And if you're looking for work, this is a metaphor. For more tips on sticking out in a world where just too much blends into the blah, 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 hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.
Well, let's say that the Chinese troops decide to come over here because the local governments here have asked them to come here and help out with things, to controlling traffic and stuff like that. Would you be all right with that? If you were polled, would you say you're cool and great?
It would depend on, no, I wouldn't like it, but it would also depend on the situation. If I had a group of radicals, say Christians, going around, terrorizing and bombing and killing other religious sects because they didn't believe in what they believe in, and we needed help. Yeah, I may at that point.
Now, what if
it's not like we have a group of people.
What if some of those Chinese troops by accident killed, say, your wife? How would you feel about those Chinese troops at that point?
I'm sure I'd have a whole different opinion.
Yeah, I bet you would.
That's an honest answer.
You are an awesome caller.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in, toll free, bring up whatever you want, whether it's the war on drugs, the legal marijuana markets, and their ridiculous regulations by the government gang. You can comment on anything that you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got also the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And I want you to know about the AMP program over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's a way for you to help us out and get some cool perks and benefits for helping us get on more radio stations around the country. We can do more. We're on over 200 now, but we can hit 300. It's possible. We just need your help at amp.freetalklive.com. We've been talking about the Oregon State House voting 39-18 that They know what's best for the marijuana market, that they think there's too much supply, so they're just going to go ahead and stop people from growing more marijuana. They're going to deny new licenses based on supply and demand, or at least their interpretation of supply and demand, rather than just, as you suggested, Silver Dave, allowing the marketplace to solve this problem on its own by just letting people buy and sell whatever marijuana
they want.
Right.
And at the things, and then it would regulate itself. It would work perfectly.
Exactly.
This machine would work so perfectly. But instead, these guys, they get involved. They stick their hands in it. They've got to be known for something. Like they have to, look what I helped all these.
We're in charge.
Look at what I did. I changed the name of this thing from this.
It's ridiculous.
It didn't do anything.
Oregon has one of the highest imbalances among the 10 states that have legalized recreational marijuana since 2012, in part because it had a head start in the weed business. With its most moist climate and rich soil, Oregon's a long history of pot growing. When it became legal, many outlaw growers went legitimate, and others jumped into the business too. They're now all cultivating weed in a multitude of fields, greenhouses, and converted factories, with 1,123 active producer licenses issued by the Liquor Commission over the past 3 years. The legislation could be a lifeline to some cannabis businesses that are being squeezed by market forces. Huh? How exactly is this legislation a lifeline to cannabis business? Meaning you're restricting competition? Is that the idea, that you're going to stop new businesses from coming in, thereby helping the existing businesses who...
Thanks for your help, guys. Thanks a lot.
The retail prices in Oregon for legal pot have plummeted from more than $10 a gram in October of 2016, which is... I don't know if that was the same year they legalized. It was I guess, a year after they legalized it, to less than $5 last December. So it's been cut in half.
$5
per gram.
Per
gram. Now, I imagine that you're going to get a better price if you buy an ounce or something like that. But if you walk into the store and you just want to buy a gram of weed, of good weed, right? Like this isn't like cheap dirt weed. This is like the best weed. I mean, back in the day, it was on the black market. It was $20 a gram.
Yeah, well, now, just to give you an idea, just since she says, first they outlawed, they had weed was illegal, so they were able to raise the price, 50,000%. Now they lower the price 50%, but congratulations, it's still 25,000% more. And let me give you something to put in perspective. Silver is about 40 cents a gram or 90 cents a gram, less than $1 a gram right now.
Mm-hmm.
And weed is $5 a gram. Think about how much less silver there is on the planet Earth, in the world, how much more scarcity this stuff is versus weed, which they could grow for pennies. It just goes to show how overpriced it is.
It's overvalued, yeah.
It's their, but of course, the licenses these guys have to pay for,
right?
Just to do
the regulations,
businesses.
The hoop jumping.
Yeah, like the sellers, the farmers could make you a much better product. They could deliver it to you with higher quality. They literally could deliver it to you with higher quality, and they could do everything, and they could do it to you for a fraction. And a fraction
if they were allowed. If they didn't have all the mandatory overhead and the hoop jumping by the government.
Meanwhile, these government guys who claim that they're giving you your freedom are the reason why you're paying exponentially more for a lesser quality service.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the quality's better than it's ever been as far as cannabis is concerned, and the price is lower than it's ever been. So legalization has brought quality up and product costs down, but it's still too much.
But here's the thing, is that that's like, if there was a free market, imagine how good the quality would be then.
Oh, sure.
See what I mean? Like, well, yeah, sure, it got better because they decriminalized it, but they've still got their hands right up the butt of it.
Yep.
They still have so much control of it. They're controlling it. They're controlling the price. So they're still strangling the quality of the service.
Because there's not free competition. Because nobody can just jump into the game. And now in Oregon, even if you got the money, you would have had to have had money, right? You'd had to have whatever amount of money and lawyers that it would take to jump through all these legal hoops to open up a legal manufacturing process for marijuana in Oregon. But now, even if you got the money, you can't get in because, sorry, they're going to close the doors. They're saying, nope, that's enough. We think we know what's enough, and we have enough. Officials say that they're worried that some license holders will become so desperate they'll divert their product into the black market.
Oh, well, imagine, but here's another note. Imagine if you were following the rules, obeying the law, and you were growing your stuff and you were selling it, and you made a business off this, and you're feeding your family this way, now all of a sudden they're going to shut you down. You could put your stuff on sale normally, or you could, like especially guys who did a good job. They produced a lot of product. They were really working hard in their fields, and they produced a lot. They're going to get punished now, and they're going to lose their livelihood.
Well, the ones that are in business are actually the ones, some of them are supporting this, right? So Margot Lucas, a marijuana grower and vendor in the Willamette Valley, she's hoping the measure will give her business breathing room.
Oh, meaning that
she wants to restrict competition. Yeah. She wants to be the only, vendor or one of a few in this region to be able to do this. She says, we're a very young industry. She noted that growers can't seek federal bankruptcy protection. Oh, pot is still illegal under federal law, she says, and banks avoid the industry, and that many owners have taken out personal loans to finance their businesses. She says, quote, so when we go out of business, we're going to go down hard. Many of us will lose our homes. You're going to have a lot of entrepreneurs in this state that are pretty unhappy with the way that this ends if we don't get some support with this bill.
When you cling to the government for support, you hurt your neighbor.
Yeah, that's absolutely
I think
true.
That there's something out there, I don't know what it was, but something about you're not supposed to be bad to your neighbors. I don't know. It's just something.
Yeah, there's a golden rule.
Something like that. But you step on your
and
neighbor, you use the arm of the government to hurt your neighbor. It doesn't
she's
raise
not
you up.
hurting her neighbor. She's just preventing them from competing with her.
Right.
Just
stopping them
find
from having
something
the
else
freedom
to do.
something that maybe they love.
Right. Yeah, you might love growing marijuana. Just find something else to do. I was here first. I got a license, and you can't have one.
This is how the machine works.
Right. And this is it's so sad, too, because, these people in the marijuana, industry, or what before it was an industry, in the marijuana black market or whatever, the people in the movement who wanted to legalize these things, I don't think this is what they envisioned necessarily, most of them. They just wanted to be able to grow marijuana and sell it, without getting arrested. That's what most of them want.
So I sent something to our host group here. It's a graphic that I think you'll find interesting just in relation to this, which is it's a chart, and it's from howmuch.net, which is talks about different industries and their cost and change in price over time versus inflation, right?
Oh, interesting.
And showing how these particular industries have gone up. And if you look at it, what do you see? The obvious common thread is if
I'm going to go
know
down
what's
the
going
list.
on.
I'll go. Should I go up or down the list here?
Either way, and you
okay.
can say 200% or what,
so
how much
time
cost.
frame. We're looking at from 1998 through 2018. So the last 20 years. Everything starts at zero, and then over time they're showing what are the prices doing of these different industries, these different categories. Hospital services have dramatically gone up nearly 225%. College tuition and fees almost 200%. College textbooks 150%. Nursery, childcare and nursery school over 100%. Housing, food and beverages up 50%. And then we'll tell you more and what the relevance of this is coming up here in moments. The toll-free number is a very interesting chart. We'll share that with you as well on our social media, which we'll tell you about here in moments. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free if you want to join us in these remaining moments here. We're talking about regulation, specifically on the cannabis business, where the state of Oregon government goons have been deciding they are going to put a stop to this cannabis licensing. Hey, we have enough. We have decided we know what is enough. And that's what they've been saying. And some of these cannabis providers are happy about it. Because while at one time they fought hard to try to legalize the product, now they're fighting to restrict the marketplace. Now they've decided that it's too legal. We've had enough of this legalization. We've had enough of this people growing as much as they want. We need to put a stop to this, restrict the marketplace. That way, these business owners that have put all this money in, they're not as at much risk. They don't have as much competition. That means that they'll be more likely to stay in business because they've got the government protecting them from competition. And Johnson, you shared a graphic here that I'm going to, at some point, probably at the end of the show, I'll put it on our social media. It'll go out on twitter.freetalklive.com. It'll go out on our Mastodon platform, which is a decentralized competitor to Twitter, which you can find at toot.freetalklive.com. And it'll go out on our Telegram channel at telegram.freetalklive.com. So whichever one you want to follow, you'll see it there. This graphic is from, you said, howmuch.net?
Yeah.
Where we're looking at over 20 years, so from 1998 to 2018, how prices have changed in different product industry categories. So hospital services Prices have gone up dramatically. College tuition and fees up nearly 200%. College textbooks way up. Average or housing, food, and beverages up 50%. But then you start getting into the other categories like new cars, kind of at about zero. It's just hasn't really gone up, hasn't really gone down. Household furnishings hasn't really gone up or down. Apparel hasn't really gone up or down. Wireless telephone services gone down in price. Computer software down in price. Toys down. We're talking about down by 50% or more. And then finally, televisions down by 100%.
They want you to watch TV
in 20 years.
Programming.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to take your thunder away from you here, but this has to do with government regulations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just think it's obvious. You look at the chart and you see what industries have been affected the most, and it seems pretty obvious. It's the ones where there's heavy-handed government intervention.
Healthcare, highly regulated, highly controlled by state and federal government regulations.
Yeah, and it also seems to me too, industries where there's a bubble that's going to have to collapse at some point,
like schools
and this healthcare stuff, I think.
So this is important because it's some people I don't think understand this, and to us it seems pretty basic.
Right.
The more the government gets in the way of business, the more prices rise, the more prices increase, the crappier the service is. I mean, how many people do you know that have a glowing review of the last time they were in the hospital? You don't hear those stories very often.
And when I was in the hospital just recently with my grandmother, I was looking around the room and I was counting up what I believed was the prices of the different things. And I looked at the price of the bed they have there. And actually,
how did you look it up?
Well, like you can just do a search, like to buy the bed. It's $30,000 to buy one of those.
I see.
One of those, just those bed that they have in there, that adjustable thing
where it raises up or whatever, the Craftmatic or whatever.
$30,000 for like a used one.
Jeez.
And so like I'm looking around the room and like I thought it was crazy how they spend all this time. Everything's beeping. It's so annoying. My grandmother's in pain. Takes them 8 hours to like bring her a painkiller. And I say like, what's the point of this place? What do they really do? They're not keeping you comfortable. What's the point? Spend money. The trash can, that's $1,000 trash can, and they have to have it. The government mandates they have to have a very special trash can. They have to have very special each thing. And that's just how they pump the whole thing up. But how healthy are people? I know they're spending a lot on healthcare, but are they healthy?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, are they ever? I mean, I guess people are living longer, you could argue.
But I think that they're living longer and lower quality. And I think that the pharmaceutical companies have a lot of people on lifelong treatments for a lot of things.
Also a highly regulated field where only a few companies can exist because it costs billions of dollars to just get a medication approved through the FDA if it gets approved.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars.
Yep.
If you come up with a cure to cancer in your back room laboratory or whatever, you're never going to do anything with it because
forget about it.
You can't get there from here.
That's right.
You don't have the attorneys. You don't have the money.
And they don't want to cure cancer anyway. They make a lot of money on cancer. The average cancer patient spends between $100,000 and $400,000 a year. I shouldn't say they spend it. It goes through the insurance companies. And, of course, that comes through the money printers who pump it through the insurance companies who pump it through the people. And that's a vehicle to just pump money through anyway. And so, like, $100,000 to $400,000 a year is the average cost of having cancer. No wonder the cancer rates have gone up so high. They're making a lot of money treating cancer, not curing cancer. Curing cancer is not profitable.
So to come back around to this story out of Oregon with these whiny business people who want to see the government protect them from competition, this woman, Margot Lucas, a marijuana grower, she says she's worried about going out of business. She says she's going to go down hard. She can't file for bankruptcy because the federal government bankruptcy protections won't protect her as a marijuana grower. And it's like, am I supposed to feel sorry for these people? Because, look, you went into business with one of the most for sure products you can possibly... The stuff sells itself, okay? It's pot. People want it, and they want it.
Especially nowadays with life the way it is.
They want it. I mean, it is not hard to sell marijuana. Now, it's true. It's a more competitive market. It's an open competitive market. I'm not saying everybody who sells pot is going to be successful at it, but hey, look, if you screw up with selling pot, you don't deserve to be in the pot business.
I have an idea. Why not improve your quality of products and services to the customer instead of begging the government to like rig the system in your benefit? That's my suggestion.
Good plan.
Like, how about figure out a way to help improve the quality, help make your customers happier, help make them want to choose you. But when you choose to ask the government to put a block in the way of your competition, I feel like that's morally wrong. I really think that's morally wrong.
And I hope that she does go out of business because she wants to see other people protected, or she wants to see other people prevented from coming in to compete with her. She deserves to go under.
Well, and I don't disagree with you. And actually, I tend to think there's a saying, live by the sword, die by the sword.
Sure.
And so I think from a karmic standpoint, when you use the government on other people, you use the government on yourself.
Yeah, it may come back around to bite you.
Very likely it may come back around. In a year or two, she may find herself with some other regulations and she gets smashed too. So what she really should have been begging is for the government to
go
get
away.
out of her way.
Exactly.
Get out of our lives.
David in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live, listening via TuneIn. Go ahead.
Yeah, just helping you out on that the street racing thing earlier. 1, 2, 3. Tim Keller, the mayor. Interesting thing is, I had managed to talk to him on the radio and asked him what his intentions are as far as re-election or not, and what he wants to do after he's mayor. He didn't give any answer, of course, but the interesting thing was that in all the time that he's been mayor, he said, "I'm the first person to ask him that." That was interesting. And then going to the street racing thing here in Albuquerque, there was a 40-year-old woman who was crossing the street a couple weeks back. I guess it's a month and a half back now. And there were some Air Force brats, and I mean like enlisted Air Force brats, and they decided that they were going to drag race each other right in the city, and they splattered that nice 40-year-old, presumably mother of some young children. They splattered her all over the frickin' street, killed her. So that's one.
Well, it's okay. They're in the military, so it's okay. They were trained.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, yeah. And then lastly, in New Mexico, you're talking about the police harassing people if you're black or you're Hispanic, but in New Mexico it doesn't work that way because the majority here is Hispanic, so they don't get that treatment as much here as they do
I see what you're
elsewhere.
saying.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the one.
So they can just arrest everybody then, everybody who's on the streets. For listeners that don't know, they're going to make it illegal in Albuquerque to watch a street race. To be present when a street race is happening on the streets will be a crime.
Like instead of going after the people committing the so-called crime, they'll arrest the people that's watching it.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
You still there?
We're still here.
Still there?
But not for long.
Yeah, one last thing is, me neither. Me too. At least the cops have a no chase policy.
That's true. And that does lessen the likelihood that the cops themselves will careen into a 40-year-old woman and end
they
her
had
life.
like a 50-pound ankle bracelet on too. That maybe add a little restriction.
If the cops had an ankle bracelet on?
that'd be funny.
We'll see
and
tomorrow
they can't
night.
chase you on foot either.
Check out Johnson's website, libertyminded.com, where there are LRN.FM official T-shirts and more. So go check them out, libertyminded.com. We'll see you tomorrow. Free Talk Live. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm.